thank you for having us here today.
Thanks for coming, Brian.
I mean, I know the product well, and I know the brand well, because obviously we specify you a lot for projects, both residential and commercial.
Thank you
but maybe you could start by telling us a bit about Havwoods, where the brand came from and where you are today.
Well, first of all, it's worth mentioning it's a family-run business. Started by the grandfather, and now it's a father and his sons.
Yeah.
So it's got that family business feel.
How long has it been going?
Started in 1975.
Okay, so it's well established.
Well established, yes.
It explains why there's so many showrooms, both here and abroad. Yeah.
Exactly, that's why we've grown from just being a family business to a global company. So we've got Australia, we've got America, and we've got Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things I love about the showroom, and this is one of the showrooms we come to quite frequently, as you know, with our clients when we're trying to get a feeling and understanding of what they want from their flooring, is your beautiful display, and it allows you to take them through the journey of the flooring to identify the various elements that they may want to see in their floor.
Yeah.
So maybe you could take a moment and talk us through the various parts to consider when specifying a floor.
That's why we encourage people to come to the showrooms, because we love the showroom experience, and we love to impart that to our clients that come here.
And it's the coffee and the brownies. Don't
forget that.
Yeah. And the goodie bag you take away with the sweets inside it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm hooked on them.
An espresso coffee machine.
Yeah. These are important things to a designer when they've been on the road all day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, cold drinks as well.
Yeah.
But let's start off with the. So to go through the journey of the wood flooring is so important.
Yeah.
We want to get the colour, light, medium, and dark. Whether you want textured or smooth, the final finish that's applied, oiled, lacquered in simple terms, and then of course starting with the shape that people have got in mind.
Yeah.
So often people will say, I want chevrons. I say, well, the chevron's got the straight line in it.
Yeah.
Actually, they want
the
the
herringbone. Yeah.
So it's a very simple guide to get started.
And I guess seeing the different tones and surfaces together in the showroom, you can get, as a designer, when I bring clients here, I can get a real understanding of what it is they're liking about a particular floor. Is it actually that they like the texture more than the deeper tones, and have they been misassociating one with the other because they've seen a floor in a particular location? So separating them out, and for example, how you've used the texture and the smooth side by side, with the light on it at a similar distance and side by, it just allows them to react spontaneously to something, and that sort of gut reaction is really nice.
That's what I feel. I think clients here immediately respond to that.
Yeah.
They know that they don't want texture, for example. Yeah. And then we lead on now, if we may, to the grade. Yeah. Most important.
This is the one that I noticed that most clients hadn't even considered or didn't know anything about. I know when I started as an interior designer, I had no idea on the various character grades, but also how you could value engineer based on character grades when you're trying to control the budget for a project. So maybe you could talk us through that a little.
Very good, Brian, because that is so important with budgets. Because we would ask that to make sure that we don't waste the client's time or our time in over-specifying something. So the rustic grade has the most knots and grain variations.
So these are these elements here.
Correct. Yeah. And then let's jump straight onto the prime grade, which is virtually clean with no knots.
Yeah. So I know one of the things that we've done a lot in the past when value engineering projects with you is we've looked at going for a better character grade, but staying away from prime, and then making sure that the fitters on site lay a dry layout and select the planks to choose the ones with the knots, to put them in areas we know will be covered, so under beds, under rugs, under kitchens and wardrobes. And it works really well, because it means a client can specify the wood finish in the texture and the tone and the color and the pattern that they like, but control the budget later on if that's what they need to do.
I'm glad you said that all for us. I would always encourage a client that's looking for, say, the final responsibility with a good fitter, can select out those boards and get the floor that they love. That's what we want the end result to be.
Do you have fitters that you can recommend to residential clients when they come in? And
yes.
That's good.
We would give at least 2 names. And they would be ones that what you would say have passed through our academy. In other words, they've had some sort of
tried and tested
training.
Tried
and tested.
Tried and tested,
And of course, we get good reports from them as well.
And you'll give clients, designers, architects, end users advice on the type of flooring to use when having an underfloor heating system, or if it's on a joist or on a screed floor. And,
correct. And
the acoustic properties and the acoustic build-up.
Yes, we can speak about that as well, because That's very important
Yeah.
because there's a lot of apartments to be done.
Yeah.
And we would always say that that needs some sort of sound protection,
Yeah.
which we can do an underlay for that.
Yeah.
Whether
And
it's
that's
glued
something
down
that you
or-
can supply.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether it's glued down or floated.
Yeah.
There's a good underlay to go with it.
And do you find clients are overwhelmed by the selection when they come to the
They
Havwoods
often
showroom?
say that. That's where I feel it's so important for myself and my colleague that works here
Yeah.
to help them through that. And they say they're overwhelmed, but actually, when you narrow it down to budget and like the journey we just come through, Brian, it makes it simple for them.
Yeah. Well,
It's not so overwhelming at the end
no,
of the
it
time.
is. Once it's logically presented in the way that you have presented it here, it's a pretty easy decision.
It is.
Yeah.
And we do have a wide range of budgets as
Yeah.
well.
So, Derek, we're actually going to run a live specification.
Very good.
We have a client who's looking at your oak Fendi, or
Very
oak
good.
smoked Fendi.
That's right. It has been surface smoked.
Yep.
And it's had a white oiling. That's how the colour's achieved.
Yeah. And we had the client in here, and she loves the flooring in the showroom. But naturally, when you take it to a house and you put it in the light that's available there, and in the environment, it does always look a little different.
Sure.
So the client is now looking for something that's a little more on the grey side.
Okay.
To this, what would you recommend?
So more of a definite grey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still the warmth of the oak smoked Fendi, but with a greyer tone to it.
Yes, I've got two thoughts for you.
Yeah.
So first of all, I'm going to go to a stained floor. So a stained would give you a more consistent colour.
Okay.
And definitely more grey.
Okay.
Because the browner tones that you're speaking here is the slightly smoked.
Okay.
Let's go to that one. So, Brian, how many square metres are needed for this project?
I think it's about 45
About
square
45,
metres.
very good.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at this one in comparison. A most definite grey here.
So you definitely have the warmth, but there is a big colour difference to
Yes.
it. Yeah.
And it is the character grade, as we've spoken of. So it does allow the knots.
But they're not as obvious because obviously there has been
correct. It's had
the colour treatment.
like a colour wash.
Okay.
The other beauty of it is it's still the UV cured oil finish.
Okay.
Can we
So
just quickly
sun
look at this
protection.
one?
Yeah.
What we're saying on UV cured oil is it's a hardening process, not UV protected from the sun's rays. But it's a lovely natural finish. Everyone likes it.
Yeah.
My little motto is you see the wood and not the finish.
Yeah.
So it's protected, it's practical, but it looks and feels good.
So maintenance of this floor is just as easy as it is with the oak smoke Fendi.
Very similar to the lacquered floor.
Okay.
Yeah. So I could tell you about that as well. We like to give that to clients.
Yeah.
So they're in no doubt as to how to look after their wood floor.
Yeah. And because obviously this is had a colour treatment to the top of it, scratches and then repair of this type of a floor afterwards.
Yes, well that does come into the maintenance actually. If it was a deep scratch, it could still be repaired, but it would mean a little bit more work than just what we'd hand over with the maintenance kit.
Okay.
But we always like to encourage clients to take a maintenance kit.
Yeah.
So they're cleaning that right from day one.
Yeah.
And we feel you get long life out of your floor then. And if we could also just quickly mention, remember these have all got a sandable wear layer of at least 4 mil.
So this is a 14 mil, 15 mil.
15 mil with a 4 mil wear layer.
Okay.
That gives you at least 2 sandings.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've got that for long term.
Yeah.
When clients say, how long have I got it for? That's usually down to their level of use.
Yeah.
But I say at least 15 years.
And putting you on the spot, if I was looking for something in between the two of these, what would you recommend?
Yeah, well, I was going to go to another smoked one.
Okay.
With a white oil, but not so many brown tones with this.
Okay.
Just bear me 2 seconds. Yeah. Okay, Brian, you said something in between the two. Well, I thought I'd keep to the smoked theme, but perhaps more grey tones.
This is wonderful. What's this one called?
This one is called
Oak Girola.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is also 15 mil.
15 mil with a 4 mil wear layer.
Okay.
The other thing we haven't mentioned yet is that this is a slightly wider board.
Okay.
Of 240. Because people generally at the moment are loving the wider boards.
The wide planks as well. Bigger is better, as
bigger
some
feel,
of them say.
yes. And they do look awesome if you've got a good sized room.
And it can make a room feel bigger as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's the character grade again, so you can see the knots. And it's always worth mentioning that on a smoked floor, there will be colour variation.
Yeah.
Because people love that.
Yeah.
You perhaps would get less colour variation with the stained floor.
I think this is going to be a winner.
Very
I'll be
good.
taking these samples and some Skittles with me when I'm
Yeah,
leaving.
at least
Yeah.
we'd love to give you that bag, that handover bag.
Yes, exactly. So one of the nice things about coming to the showroom, Derek, is the availability of samples to take
Yes.
here
We
and
try
now
keep
in the spot.
it
So
well stocked up.
could I get some samples of these, but also maybe anything else that you want to throw into the mix that has
Okay.
that 15 mil surface for the client?
So the first one we're going to look at is the Fendi. With the Fendi, I usually like to see if I can just get some different colour variations.
Variety in the colours.
Yes, and they're all quite similar at the moment.
Yep.
So just check that one. So there you've got a
Variety in the tones.
yes.
So
Which
that's
is
the
worth-
same flooring,
Correct.
but just appears differently.
I'm just giving you the prime grade one so that you can see that there's what the colours may come
Yep.
through.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Now let's go on to this one here, the stained one.
I suppose the green is the one that makes the biggest difference in this one.
Yes.
Yeah, because you get that extra smooth surface where
And
the
it's-
colour becomes more.
It's had a light
Dramatic.
brushing, as you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And
And
now
then we have what I think is going to be our winner,
now that's good because that is showing the two
a real
different-
difference.
showing the difference in colour.
And I guess even when we have them, yeah, there's a big difference when you look at them side by side.
And what we would say, Brian, is that although those samples might look quite, should we say, quite different there,
Yeah.
quite a difference being quite stark, when
Yeah.
it's laid on the floor,
There's an overall consistency.
correct,
Yeah.
it will harmonise and merge together.
Yeah. Any other wild cards you'd like to throw in terms of samples?
Another one that just comes to mind is a stained floor, keeping it grey.
Again,
gonna
really
go-
nice. Has
be
a
going much
lightness
lighter
to
now.
it.
Yeah. Should we put one of
But
those?
that's so this one's available in
20
mil. Do you do it as a 15 mil?
No.
So we have a requirement on site for 15 mil because
Okay.
of shadow gap details around the
Understand.
wardrobe. So we have
Yep.
to stick to 15 mil and below.
Okay. There's a 13 mil there.
It's going to be too dark, but it is a lovely.
It's
Floor,
still
just
got the
to show
grey
the
theme,
cream.
but yes, you're right. There's
Yeah.
quite a bit of darkness there.
But let's leave it in as a wild card. It's nice to offer some options, and that's available in 13 mil and in other thicknesses.
We could do it to 21 to special order.
Okay.
Yeah. We would need again. We're having to say longer lead times
Yeah.
now due to the current time.
Yep.
But it's worth mentioning on this one that available in the rustic grade from stock.
Yep.
But we could do different grades if
Okay.
your client so wanted it.
Okay.
So we can do bespoke. We would normally expect there to be a reasonable quantity
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.